Lil Boosie picks up Duke the Jeweler's Chicago chain. Now, was Duke supposed to make a chain for Boosie and they knew each other all along? Or was it like Boosie said, where he only met them the night before at the dice game? Let's get right into it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment down below, and hit that notification bell. Let's go. So when Boosie was asked about how he knew Duke the Jeweler, he tried to say that he just met him the night before, but then he also slipped up and said that Duke the Jeweler 093 was supposed to make a chain for Boosie, that he had reached out to Boosie beforehand, weeks in advance, and told Lil Boosie that he was going to voluntarily make a chain, that he wanted to show Boosie to get more support because he knew that there would be more business to come. And now Lil Boosie, he had already met Duke the Jeweler through their sources. They already had connected. So he agreed for Duke to come to the dice game and to literally spend the weekend with his whole crew. And then the day after the dice game, they're supposed to go to the concert. The concert had Plies there. It had Boosie, Duke the Jeweler, a bunch of other people, a bunch of fans, and of course the backstage entourage with the security and everything like that. So the reason why Duke came down wasn't just for the dice game. It was to show the new piece that he was making for Boosie, because he wanted Boosie to promote or at least show the piece so that more of the celebrities would get their jewelry, diamonds, and gold watches, Rolexes from Duke. And so basically that was the plan. But, you know, they already knew, the Wolves already knew that, okay, if he's coming to bring Boosie a chain, if he's coming to show him a pendant, then that means he's going to have all the Cubans for it. He's going to have the rings. He's going to have the charms and bracelets and the emerald cut baguettes. And so the Wolves already knew that it was already going to be $1 million on the way. And so just at that same time the dice game comes out, he's also got the cash on hand. And so all of this stuff he has to carry in the Louis Vuitton cases. It's a Louis Vuitton luggage out there that still is missing, and that had an entire organized collection of the jewels, the baguettes, everything was hitting, and this was all high-end jewelry. I'm talking Pateks, Richard Millie's, all sorts of stuff, VVS's, SI, like flawless jewelry. So even Duke, and he showed him his ticket, and on the ticket it even said that he had the VIP parking. And so it's a whole confusion between, like, why couldn't the valet and the security and Boosie's driver and all of that, like, why couldn't they let him into the secured part of the parking lot? Like, you got to understand, he was part of the VIP entourage. And so if you got invited by the person who's literally performing, you're supposed to be in their section. That's if you drove there, like, you're supposed to be in their section. But unfortunately they denied him, man, because that was one of the biggest red flags. That was almost the biggest mistake. Because had he been in that secured area, there's no doubt that nothing would have went down, because it would have been too close around Boosie, and it would have been too many people to see this all happen. And it's still people who saw the whole original one happen, like in that other side of the parking garage with Duke. It's people who seen that happen. If Boosie heard what was going on, then there's a bunch of people who saw what happened too. And, like, for real, you can't just hear something and the people who are closer, they're going to see it too. And, like, Boosie probably even seen it, because the sources are saying that they couldn't even get out of that parking garage fast enough. Like, after the rounds went off and Duke was, like, down and everything like that, Boosie and his driver, that whole truck or whatever they came in, they still had to go slow over the speed bumps. it was traffic in there. They still had to wait to be released one by one, one by one. Everybody who wasn't Boosie had to pay for that parking spot and literally like hand their ticket over to the event guy, and the staff, the parking lot staff, is supposed to make sure whether they pay or they don't pay, how many hours they were in the parking garage. And so that's how they do it. It's supposed to be $20 for every hour you in there. And there's some people in there for 3 hours, so they gotta break a 60 off on for that parking. And then the next car comes up. The next car might be Boosie security. Okay, they get to go without paying. Then Boosie car come up. Then he gets to go without paying. And somebody else. So it's all these cars backed up. And Duke just got hit, and it's frantic. Like, it's firefighters running over to him and all of that. Boosie talked about how the promoter was the first one to go there, and he was talking about, oh, it's a guy here and he has all his chains on, and just like the weirdest little statements that you could say, right? And then next thing you know, it's like Boosie and his people just drove by the whole thing, got out, and literally just went back to their whole hotel part, to their whole like Houston concierge, so that they try to get away from it. And matter of fact, Boosie hopped in a different car and told one of his nephews or his cousin to move the GMC truck because he didn't want to be connected to the GMC truck. He thought that GMC truck was too hot because he must have known that somebody who must have been in that GMC truck at some point was tied to what happened to Duke, or else Boosie would have just hopped in the GMC truck in the back seat and let the driver drive, just like the way he got there with Duke following them. But then all of a sudden, the car that Duke was following the whole time, that he was told to follow to get into the secured part of the parking lot, that's the car that they end up leaving behind because Boosie thinks that car is too hot. So it's something about whoever was in the GMC truck. They could have been one of the people that jumped out, and maybe during the concert, they probably went and changed and then came back in the different truck to pull up on Duke. And remember, Duke had it's 3 trucks. It's Duke's red truck, who's parked on the side in the crooked parking lot where they got to park at an angle. Then there's Boosie's GMC, who's literally right by the front door of the backstage. Okay? That's parked and secure. It's literally like yellow rope, and the security guards got the metal detectors right there. So there's GMC truck. Then it's the people who actually pulled up, and the assailants, the ones who got away, their truck pulls up, but it was like real quick. They were kind of like around the corner, and somebody must have had a walkie-talkie and told them that Duke was coming outside. That's how they knew to time it so good and turned that corner. The people heard, all they heard was the tire squeal. He turned the corner. Somebody yelled, hey, and give it up. And then you just see the doors fling open, and they literally like pulled the truck so that Duke is in between both trucks. He's in between his car and the car that just pulled up. So they kind of have him boxed in, and then that's when everything happened, y'all. So look, subscribe to this channel, like this video, and comment down below. I'm going to have some breaking news coming out in the next video, so make sure you stay tuned. I'm going to catch you on the next one.